How did you get started in the real estate sector? Like, when did this journey start for you?
I would say about 16, 17 years ago now.
Nice.
And back then, I had my real estate license, and the idea was...
So what is next for you guys? Because, you're so successful with home building and the title. What's next?
Yeah, right now my focus, we have some projects that we're finishing up.
How can people kind of, find you, connect with you, and know more about your title company?
Yeah, so with Closed Title Houston, we're located at 4601 Yale Street.
Have you, because I know you're developing homes, flipping, home builder, have you utilized private lending before?
When I first started, we utilized private lending a lot because, you don't really have...
Welcome back to another episode of Simple Chat. I'm your host, CEO and founder of Simple Lending Financial, Janine Cascio. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Houston native. So we're doing an in-person live podcast for once. We got Rob. Rob, do you mind introducing yourself to the audience?
Yes, thanks, Janine. My name is Rob Wiseman. I am a real estate broker, real estate developer, and also recently a partner in a title company called Closed Title here in Houston, Texas.
Very cool. And I'm just curious, how did you get started in the real estate sector? Like, when did this journey start for you?
I would say about 16, 17 years ago now.
Nice.
And back then, I had my real estate license, and the idea was, to make money in real estate.
Yeah.
And so, even today, you see a lot of infomercials and a lot of social media gurus, if you will, that talk about making money in real estate. Back then, we had this similar sort of thing. And so it was like, how can I get involved in real estate investing beyond just having a real estate license?
Yeah. Cool. And have you, because I know you're developing homes, flipping, home builder, have you utilized private lending before?
When I first started, we utilized private lending a lot because, you don't really have a track record per se in terms of just financials and doing that sort of thing. So it's hard to go to a bank and get a loan without having, 2 or 3 year tax returns and financial statements and things like that. And then even with all of that, the percentage of the project cost that they'll lend you is relatively low. And if you're starting out, there's all this additional capital that you have to bring to the table. And so it's just kind of challenging. So the private money helps you because they look more at the deal, the viability of the deal than just you as the individual.
Yeah, for sure. So was it able to help you scale more and do more projects?
Yeah, absolutely. We did. I've done a ton of projects, and we've since I've kind of toggled in and out of this private space from depending on the deal structure, going to local banks, right? And we've had guidance lines of credit with banks, and as you do more and more, projects, then it's easier to get stuff done with banks. But for instance, there's certain situations where it's like, hey, I don't want to go through the red tape.
Yeah.
Or maybe I need to move quickly on a deal. And I know that based on my numbers that, I can get in and out of it and then refi into something a little bit more traditional. So it's a good resource to have and understand how to leverage and use it.
Yeah.
Depending on where you are, the deal structure or the deal type. So I definitely would recommend people getting with good lenders, right? Because there are some lenders that in that space. Exactly.
For sure. And it seems now you have the title, you've built homes, you have title, and then your wife's a realtor. So you guys have the whole ecosystem down, really.
Yeah. Not by default. My wife, her background, she's a school teacher for many years. And so her personality and the typical personality of a real estate, professional, lender, builder, all those things are the complete polar opposites. But she's evolved. She's very, very proficient in what she does. And it's kind of cool, right? Because it's like we're operating in the same space and, we feed off of each other sometimes. So it is challenging. You work with your wife or husband and then you still got to go home. And so sometimes the work. Exactly.
Cool. So what is next for you guys? Because you're so successful with home building and the title, what's next?
Yeah, I mean, right now my focus, I mean, we have some projects that we're finishing up, some like small multifamily stuff that once we're done, we'll sell those. And I'm always looking at deals. We're working on some land development stuff, basically developing raw land into, buildable sites and then selling those to other developers and builders. Yeah, yeah. And it's less risk, not as labor intensive, like, when you go vertical construction. But the title company is something I'm really excited about just because from my perspective, like the culmination of everything that I've been involved in under the real estate development umbrella. And, not only providing the title service, but then being a conduit for information and resource to other people that come to transact with us. So we have different level investors, real estate agents that I'm able to share information and my experience and resources, which is really what a title company should be, is a resource for people, So that's really I would say probably 80% of my focus right now.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
It's great. Titles always needed on every transaction. So meeting more people, educating more people, it all ends up coming back anyway.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So, my audience is a lot of entrepreneurs and people that are looking to maybe start their own business and things like that. Is there any mindset shifts or techniques or maybe even a book that you want to share that has helped you progress along your journey?
There's a book by the name of, it's called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. So I read that book, at least 15 years ago, but I also have it as an audio book and I'm listening to it again now. I mean, I probably listened to it 10 or 12, but it's kind of like, mindset, right? It's like Jack Canfield talks about having a positive mental attitude, right? And through that comes, it's kind of like manifesting and, the secret, right? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of times it's when we see things, especially now in the age of social media, it's easy just to promote one small sliver of a person's full perspective. But the reality is that real life is nothing like that. So internally, what is it that you lean on, right? Or seek out of yourself in order to keep going in spite of challenges, in spite of adversity, in spite of, all the inevitable things that are going to happen, especially in real estate, right?
Yeah.
What's happening in the market right now and not knowing what the future holds and the uncertainty and dealing with people and people each person having their own set of issues that come into the mix. And, so many different things that unless you have something, like within your mind that you can always lean on and fall back on so that you can keep going, it's tough. You know what I mean? So I definitely think, listening to or reading books, that kind of promote and instill that positive mental attitude is important.
Yeah. Because we all need the reminder too, especially on tough days. And there is this quote that success is really just determined by who stays in it and outlasts all the downturns, and you just gotta keep going sometimes. And on the tough days, to know that this too shall pass. For my yogis. But cool. Thank you so much for being on this episode of Simple Chat. And how can people kind of, find you, connect with you, and know more about your title company?
Yeah. So, with Closed Title Houston, we're located at 4601 Yale Street, Houston, Texas, 77018. That's in Independence Heights. So I'm sure if you're in building or, renovations, you've heard of Independence Heights. So we're located there. And my email address is robw@closedtitle.com. So feel free to reach out, shoot us an email, and would love to connect with you.
And you guys are active on Instagram. That's how I connected with both you and your wife.
Yes. The Closing Connection is the handle on Instagram.
Cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you.